I pause outside the private dining room of the Cypress Room, my fingers tightening around the neatly wrapped box I'm holding. Through the frosted glass panel, I can make out the blurred outlines of my family already gathered at the long mahogany table. The muted clink of crystal and the low murmur of conversation drift through the door as a server refills wine glasses that probably cost more per bottle than my weekly grocery bill. 8 years. 8 years of picking up every late-night call, untangling every emergency, transferring money without hesitation at the first hint of distress. Tonight is supposed to mean something. Tonight is meant to prove that all of it mattered, that I matter. I smooth the fabric of my black dress, inhale slowly, and push the door open. My mother, Eleonora, sits poised at the head of the table like royalty presiding over court. Her gaze locks onto me immediately, sharp and measuring. Her lips tighten almost imperceptibly as she scans my appearance, cataloging flaws for later. Preston lounges beside her, swirling his wine with lazy confidence, the same condescending smirk he's worn since childhood when I dared to outshine him. Spencer glances up from his phone, arranging his face into something resembling enthusiasm. "Camille, decided to grace us with your presence?" Only my father reacts with genuine warmth. Harrison Collins rises from his seat, arms open, his eyes brightening when he notices the gift in my hands. "There's my girl," he says, his voice soft with affection. I walk around the table, acknowledging the others with polite nods, before leaning into Dad's embrace. "Happy birthday, Dad." He holds me tightly, and for a fleeting moment I allow myself to believe this evening could be different, that maybe tonight they will finally acknowledge everything I've done, that I will be seen as a daughter instead of a resource. I hand him the box. "You shouldn't have, Camille," he says, though the anticipation in his eyes betrays him. I take the only remaining seat at the far end of the table, directly opposite my mother, separate, apart. The message is subtle but unmistakable. A server approaches. "May I get you something to drink, miss?" "She'll have the house white," my mother interjects smoothly. Camille never developed much of a palate for wine. I keep my smile steady. "Actually, I'll have the Cabernet, the 2018 vintage, please." Eleonora's smile stiffens. How nice it must be to have disposable income when you don't have real responsibilities, like children. The knot in my stomach tightens. I haven't been seated 5 minutes. "I'd like to order another appetizer for the table," I say, redirecting the tension. Preston snorts softly. Always generous when it's someone else's money on the line. My mind drifts back to my first bonus at 22, $10,000. I had planned to invest it, build something stable. Then came the frantic call. "The bank is foreclosing, Camille. We'll lose the house. Your father would never ask, but we need help." I wired the entire amount that same night. The gratitude was overwhelming. I felt indispensable, needed, valued. Julian warned me years later, "They're taking advantage of you, Cam. It won't stop unless you stop it." I dismissed him. Family first, I insisted. 3 months later, he packed his things and left. Spencer's voice pulls me back. He's recounting a story about his newest girlfriend, basking in attention. Preston pivots the conversation towards some new investment scheme. They both sip generously from the Cabernet I ordered, well aware I'll be covering the bill. Gift time arrives. Preston presents Dad with a boxed grill tool set, still in plastic wrapping. Spencer offers a framed photo of himself and Dad at a baseball game I was never invited to. Then Dad unwraps my gift. The vintage 1950s Hamilton watch gleams under the chandelier, its silver face catching the light. I spent months tracking it down. "Camille," he whispers, his voice thick with emotion. For a second, pride warms me. Then I see my mother's expression, cold, calculating. "I suppose," she says lightly, "when you don't have a husband or children to support, extravagant gifts are easy." "That's not fair, Mom." "Not fair?" Her laugh is brittle. "What's not fair is how you use your money to make everyone else feel inadequate, trying to purchase affection." "I paid for his surgery," I blurt before I can stop myself. "I'm paying for this entire dinner." "There it is," she snaps. "Always tallying, always keeping score. You want the truth? You're lonely, bitter, and you're not even part of this family." I look to Preston, silently begging for a flicker of decency. He avoids my gaze, savoring another sip of wine. Clarity settles over me with startling calm. This will never change. The emergencies will continue. The expectations will grow. I am not a daughter here. I am a funding source, and funding sources can be cut off. I leave the Cypress Room with measured steps, though my hands tremble. At the payment desk, the maitre d' looks up kindly. "Everything all right, Miss Collins?" Perfect, I reply evenly. I'd like to adjust the billing. I hand over 2 crisp $100 bills. Please charge my Neil and Mr. Harrison Collins to my card. The remainder, 6 guests, kindly deliver to Mrs. Eleanora Collins. Her brows lift slightly, but she nods. Outside, the night air feels charged, electric against my skin. My phone vibrates repeatedly before I reach my car. 6 missed calls, all Eleanora. A text appears from my cousin Alicia. Did you see the family group chat? What group chat? Screenshots follow. Messages time-stamped hours before dinner. Preston, Camille booked the Cypress room. Spencer, promotion bonus laundering time. Eleanora, boys behave. 3 dots. Those 3 dots say everything. They coordinated it, planned it, extracted what they could while diminishing me. Voicemail number 7 appears. I drive home in silence. In my apartment, I pour a glass of wine and listen to the messages. Eleanora's voice is venomous. Accusations, insults, no apology. I block her number. The quiet that follows feels sacred. I open my laptop and book a flight to Italy. 10 days in Tuscany, a dream deferred too many times. Then I gather financial records. $30,000 from my 401k for dad's surgery. Covered by insurance they let lapse. $15,000 in property taxes. $10,000 for Preston's failed venture. Countless smaller transfers for Spencer's tuition, utilities, emergencies. My retirement delayed 5 years. My life postponed. The next morning, I sit in Dr. Annabelle Croft's office. I'm free, I tell her. Why do I feel guilty? Because being the fixer gave you identity, she replies gently. Now we discover who you are without that role. That evening, Spencer tags me in a GoFundMe titled Family Betrayed by Narcissist Sister. I reported it immediately. It disappeared by midnight. An email from him follows, full of threats. I feel no panic, only resolution. I sleep deeply for the first time in years. 2 days later, Eleanora posts a black and white photo online, lamenting betrayal by an ungrateful child. Sympathy floods the comments. Julian calls. Apparently I'm dating a monster, he says dryly. I smile faintly. At work, Spencer shows up unannounced, claiming a family emergency. I slip out through the back stairwell instead. A cream envelope arrives that evening. 5 handwritten pages from Eleanora, full of reflection and vague accountability. The postscript reveals the truth. P.S. Property taxes are due next month. I cut the letter into tiny squares and drop them into the trash. The next morning, I make 3 calls. 1 to my bank to rebuild my retirement. 1 to Rachel, asking her not to relay any more family messages. 1 to enroll in pottery classes I've postponed for years. That evening, my phone lights up with Dad's name. I hesitate, then answer. Cammy? His voice sounds weary. Hi, Dad. I miss you.
3 simple words that cut deeper than Eleonora's 5-page letter. I close my eyes, fighting back tears. I miss you too, Dad, but I cannot come back. Not as long as you choose to stay there. We're a family, Cam. Family sticks together, through thick and thin. Is that what happened at my birthday dinner for you? When Mom said those things to me, did family stick together then? The silence stretches between us. I can hear him breathing, the slight wheeze from his left lung that never quite healed after the pneumonia 3 years ago. Another crisis I'd managed, another hospital bill I'd covered. I heard what she said, he admits finally, his voice small. I should have stopped her, but you didn't. No, I didn't. The truth hangs between us, painful but necessary. I love you, Dad, I say, meaning it. But I won't be your human sacrifice anymore. After we hang up, I curl into a ball on my couch, allowing myself exactly 10 minutes to cry. Then I wash my face, change into clean clothes, and head out to meet Julian for coffee. The cafe is busy, sun streaming through large windows. Julian waves from a corner table, 2 mugs already waiting. No romantic expectations, just the comfort of someone who knows the whole truth. You look better, he says, studying my face. Less hunted. I smile, realizing he's right. I feel lighter. I should have done more, Julian says suddenly, eyes serious. I'm sorry I left instead of helping you see what was happening. That was the easy way out. You tried, I remind him. I wasn't ready to listen. The property tax deadline comes and goes. I mark it on my calendar with a small red X, preparing for the onslaught. It arrives precisely 3 days later, when Preston's name flashes on my phone screen. I answer, setting him on speaker while I continue preparing dinner. They might lose the house because of you. His voice booms through my kitchen, familiar in its righteous anger. I I sprinkle salt over the chicken breast sizzling in my pan. No, they might lose the house because they didn't pay their taxes. There's a difference. How can you be so cold after everything they've done for you? What exactly have they done for me, Preston? I flip the chicken, admiring the golden crust. Name 3 things. His sputtering fills the silence. That's what I thought, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Goodbye, Preston. I hang up, waiting for the familiar wave of guilt to crash over me. It doesn't come. Instead, I open my laptop and create a new spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, emergency description. Column C, amount. I begin with the first major withdrawal, my initial bonus at 22, and work forward methodically. By midnight, I've documented $73,450 in loans and gifts over 8 years. Next to this spreadsheet, I open my calendar, marking every vacation, date, and personal event, canceled for family emergencies. The pattern is stark, undeniable. Not a single important moment in my life remained untouched by their needs. 2 weeks later, I board a plane to Italy, a trip I've dreamed of since college. The photos show a woman I barely recognize, smiling genuinely, shoulders relaxed, eyes clear. In one, taken at a small cafe in Florence, I'm laughing, head thrown back, completely present in the moment. Dr. Croft smiles when I show her the pictures during our session. That's what freedom looks like, Camille. The holiday season approaches. For the first time in my adult life, I decline Eleonora's formal Thanksgiving invitation. Instead, I host a small gathering of friends in my apartment. No family drama, no walking on eggshells, no calculating the emotional cost of each interaction. 1 year after the restaurant confrontation, I'm reviewing quarterly projections when my phone buzzes with a text. Spencer's name appears on the screen. We need to talk. It's about Dad. My heart stutters, old patterns trying to reassert themselves. Call immediately. Drop everything. Fix it. I set the phone down and continue working for exactly 30 minutes, completing my task before picking it up again. The message waits, demanding a response. My finger hovers over the screen as I make a decision. A week later, the cafe bustles with mid-morning energy, the hiss of espresso machines, clinking cups, and murmured conversations creating the perfect public backdrop. I chose this place deliberately. Open space, witnesses, no chance of being cornered. I check my watch, a practical stainless steel timepiece, nothing like the vintage Hamilton I gave Dad last year. 2 minutes until Spencer arrives. I pull out my phone, open the recording app, and press start. The screen confirms, recording haste shown. I slip it back into my purse, making sure the microphone isn't obstructed. You okay? I look up to find Julian at the next table, his laptop open, but his attention on me. He'd arrived 15 minutes before me, settling in as if he were just another remote worker needing caffeine and Wi-Fi. I'm fine, I say, surprised by how true it feels, just ready to get this over with. Julian nods, then returns to his screen, maintaining the illusion of separate customers who don't know each other. The weight of his presence steadies me. The door chimes. Spencer walks in, scanning the cafe until he spots me. He's dressed better than usual, crisp button-down, pressed khakis, the uniform of responsibility. He's come prepared. So am I. Camille. His voice carries the precise note of controlled concern as he slides into the chair across from me. Thank you for meeting me. I have 30 minutes, I say, tapping my watch. I need to be back at work for a conference call. Spencer's mouth twitches, annoyance quickly masked with practiced sympathy. He reaches into his messenger bag and pulls out a manila envelope. I brought some things you need to see. He extracts several photographs, laying them on the table between us like playing cards. Dad, looking thin and pale, sitting in his favorite recliner. Dad at what appears to be a doctor's office, shoulders slumped. Dad asleep in a hospital bed, an IV in his arm. Something cold washes through me. When were these taken? Over the last few months. Spencer leans forward, voice dropping. He hasn't been the same since you abandoned us, Camille. The word abandoned lands like a slap. He barely eats, hardly sleeps. The doctors say his blood pressure is dangerously high. I force myself to breathe evenly, to study the photos with analytical distance, rather than the panicked guilt bubbling up inside me. What exactly is wrong with him? His spine. Spencer shakes his head sadly. Remember that surgery you helped with before? There are complications. He needs another procedure. The implication hangs in the air, unspoken but clear. This is your fault. You left, and now Dad is suffering. Dr. Croft's voice echoes in my head. Notice when they're using your father as emotional leverage. They know he's your weak spot. I'm sorry to hear he's unwell, I say, keeping my voice steady. Which hospital is he being treated at? Spencer blinks. County General. And his doctor's name? Dr. Wilson. The answer comes too quickly. Neurosurgeon or orthopedic specialist? Spencer's eyes narrow. What difference does it make?
It makes a difference because I'd like to speak directly with his doctor. I pull out my phone. If you give me Dr. Wilson's contact information, I can call right now to discuss Dad's treatment plan. Spencer shifts in his seat. You can't just call his doctor. There are privacy laws. Dad can authorize it. Let's call him right now and ask. He's resting, Spencer says sharply. The medication makes him drowsy. I take a sip of my cooling coffee, using the moment to steady myself. Spencer's tells are obvious now. The finger tapping, the rapid blinking when he's fabricating details. I care about Dad's health, I say carefully. But I won't be manipulated, Spencer. His expression darkens. You sound just like that therapist of yours. Has she convinced you that your own family is manipulating you? He leans forward. What kind of daughter abandons her father when he needs her most? Mom was right about you.
You've always been selfish. The words echo Eleonora's exact phrasing from countless arguments. In the past, I would have spiraled into defensive explanations, desperate to prove I wasn't the villain they painted me to be. Not anymore. I understand that's your perspective, I say. Spencer stares at me, waiting for the usual frantic justifications. When they don't come, confusion flickers across his face. Look, he says, voice hardening, this isn't a debate. Either help with Dad's surgery or don't pretend to care about him. I've offered to speak directly with his doctor. I've offered to call Dad right now. If he truly needs another surgery, I want to hear the details from medical professionals, not through you. Spencer's face flushes red. You don't trust me, your own brother? I trust medical professionals to explain medical conditions. Fine, he throws up his hands. Call Dad, but Mom already told you you'd pay for everything. The slip hangs in the air between us. Spencer freezes, realizing what he's revealed. So Dad doesn't actually know you're asking me for money, I say quietly. Spencer's voice rises. Don't twist my words. Dad knows he needs surgery. Mom was just trying to spare him the stress of financial worries. Heads turn at nearby tables. A woman with gray hair glances over, her expression concerned. You've always had it easy, Camille, Spencer continues, louder now. Your fancy job, your wealth, while the rest of us struggle. And now you won't even help our father? I keep my voice even, soft. Spencer, we're in a public place. Let's keep this conversation civil. Civil? There's nothing civil about abandoning your family. He slams his hand on the table, rattling our cups. The cafe grows quiet. The server approaches our table, her expression professional but firm. Sir, I need to ask you to lower your voice or take this conversation elsewhere. Spencer turns on her. This is a private matter, not when it's disturbing our other customers. The server stands her ground. Do I need to ask you to leave? Spencer looks around, suddenly aware of the attention he's drawn. Every eye in the cafe watches him, not with the sympathy he expected, but with disapproval. Julian stands and moves to my table, saying nothing, simply positioning himself behind my chair. My phone chimes with a text message. I glance down to see Julian's name. Everything okay? Need backup? Before I can respond, another text arrives from my office. Take all the time you need. We've got your presentation covered. Dr. Croft says she can see you at 2 p.m. if needed. A web of support surrounds me now, invisible to Spencer, but strong enough to hold me steady. I pick up my phone and dial Dad's number, holding Spencer's gaze as it rings. Hello? Dad's voice sounds alert, confused by the unexpected call. Dad? It's me, Camille. Cammy? Surprise brightens his tone. Spencer said you were too busy to talk to me these days. Spencer reaches for my phone. I turn away, protecting the connection. How are you feeling, Dad? Spencer showed me some pictures. He says you need another surgery. Surgery? Dad sounds genuinely confused. No, the doctor just changed my blood pressure medication last month. It's working well, no surgery needed. Spencer stands abruptly, face pale. I have to go. As he gathers his things, I notice his phone screen lighting up with notifications. Even upside down, I can make out Eleonora's name, followed by, did she agree? How much? Dad, I say calmly, would it be okay if I spoke with your doctor? I'd like to understand your current treatment plan. Of course, sweetheart. Dr. Martinez. Not Wilson. Don't know where Spencer got that name. She's excellent. I'll call her office and let them know you might contact them. Spencer storms toward the door just as my phone pings again, Preston calling. I decline it, watching my younger brother flee the cafe, already pressing his own phone to his ear. The family that once seemed so united against me is fracturing before my eyes. Dad, I say, feeling something shift inside me. There's something we need to talk about. The phone rings as I'm sorting through quarterly investment reports. Harrison's name flashes on the screen, and I pause, feeling the familiar tug of obligation. It's been 3 weeks since the cafe incident with Spencer. 3 weeks of relative quiet. Dad,
I answer, keeping my voice even. Cammy, his voice is warm but cautious. How are you, sweetheart? I'm good, busy with work. I tap my pen against the desk calendar, already sensing what's coming. Listen, I've been thinking. Harrison clears his throat. What if we had a family dinner next week? Just to talk things through. Eleonora promises to apologize. The old Camille would have immediately rearranged her schedule, grateful for any crumb of reconciliation. But as I sit in my office, surrounded by the life I've built, I recognize the trap. I love you, Dad, I say softly. But I can't. An apology under pressure isn't real. I'm not ready to put myself in that position again. The silence stretches between us. I can practically hear him dislating. She's really trying, Cammy. Is she? Or is she just trying to get things back to the way they were? Another long pause. I miss you. I miss you too. But this isn't about punishing anyone. It's about protecting myself. When we hang up, the old guilt surfaces, that nagging voice questioning whether I'm being selfish, whether family loyalty should trump everything else. I open my desk drawer, pulling out the therapy journal Dr. Croft suggested. Beneath the guilt, I identify something new. Resolve. Thanksgiving arrives with a flurry of social media posts about gratitude and family togetherness. The Collins family invitation sits in my email, untouched. Instead, I spend the day with Julian and his new partner, Michael. We cook together in Julian's apartment, laughing over burned rolls and slightly undercooked stuffing. To freedom, Julian toasts, raising his glass with a knowing smile. Later that night, scrolling through Instagram, I see Eleonora's perfectly staged family photo. Harrison, looking uncomfortable in a sweater I'd never seen before. Preston and Spencer flanking him, their smiles tight. The caption reads, "So sad when a family is broken apart by selfishness. We miss those who should be here." Just months ago, this would have sent me spiraling into guilt and shame. Tonight, I just feel sad confirmation of my mother's victim complex. I close the app and sleep soundly. The call from Beatrice comes out of nowhere on a Tuesday morning in December. Preston's wife rarely contacts me directly. Camille? Her voice is thick with tears. I'm sorry to bother you, but I didn't know who else to call. I step away from my desk, moving to the privacy of the stairwell. What's wrong? It's Preston. He's been lying to me. Her words tumble out between sobs. He just admitted he's $10,000 in debt to you from a failed investment, and now he's demanding I sell my car to cover new debts. He keeps blaming you for cutting him off and ruining his finances. The revelation doesn't surprise me. Preston had always lived beyond his means, confident that someone, usually me, would bail him out. Beatrice, I say, keeping my voice calm and measured. I am truly sorry you're in this position, but that is between you and Preston. I'm not involved. But if you could just help us. No, the word comes easily now. I can't fix this for you. Preston needs to face his own financial choices. After we hang up, I sit on the stairs, processing. The family is turning on each other now that their ATM is closed. It's both vindication and sadness rolled into one. Back at my desk, an email from Maria and senior management waits. Camille, can we meet to discuss the Harrington acquisition? We're considering you for project lead. The opportunity is exactly what I've been working toward. A major promotion with significant responsibility, and higher pay, and longer hours.
My hand hovers over the keyboard. The old Camille script plays in my head. I can't. I need to be available for emergencies. That evening in Dr. Croft's office, I pace by the window. What's holding you back? She asks, watching me with that penetrating gaze. I've always been the one they could count on. What if someone needs me and I'm stuck in meetings? Dr. Croft leans forward. Whose emergency are you actually afraid of missing? Is it your family's? Or is it your own? The question stops me. Mine. The emergency of feeling needed, of having purpose through solving other people's problems. The truth of it settles in my chest. I've built my identity around being the fixer, the crisis manager. Without that role, who am I? I think, I say slowly, I'm afraid of finding out who I am when I'm not saving everyone else. The next morning, I email Maria. I'd be honored to lead the Harrington acquisition. 3 months later, I'm standing at a podium at the annual Financial Services Conference, leading panel on emerging market investments. My voice is steady, confident. The room is packed with industry leaders, and I feel a strange sense of belonging I never experienced in my own family. At the reception afterward, a man approaches with 2 glasses of champagne. Impressive panel, he says, offering me one. I especially liked your point about sustainable development funds. Thank you. I accept the glass, noticing his warm eyes and easy smile. Rowan Barnes, he introduces himself. Architectural development partners. Camille Collins, Westridge Investments. Our conversation flows easily about work, about design trends and financial districts, about our shared love of Italian espresso. Not once do we mention family drama or emergencies or obligations. It's just two professionals connecting over mutual interests. When he asks for my card, I feel a flutter of interest that has nothing to do with needing to save him or fix his problems. He's successful, stable, my equal. That night in my apartment, I stare at his business card, realizing how much has changed. My old life is fading away, replaced by something I never thought possible: independence. Harrison calls less frequently now, and when he does, the conversations have shifted. "How's work, Cammy?" he asks, genuine interest in his voice. "Good. Challenging, but good. I'm leading a major acquisition." "That's wonderful." A pause. I started seeing someone. A therapist, I mean. The admission surprises me. "That's great, Dad." "Yeah, well, turns out I have some things to work through." Spencer's emails have stopped. Preston is radio silent. Eleonora remains a blocked number. The silence used to feel like punishment, like emptiness. Now it feels peaceful. As I place Rowan's card on my nightstand, I realize I'm no longer waiting for the next crisis call. I'm just living my life. And it's enough. The evening sun paints golden streaks across my penthouse windows. 2 years since that birthday dinner, and sometimes I still can't believe this view is mine. 40 floors up, the city sprawls beneath me, a constellation of lights beginning to twinkle as dusk settles. I trace my fingers along the granite countertop, savoring the cool smoothness against my skin. Photos from my life after the Collins family collapse line the walls, hiking through Tuscan hills, laughing with colleagues at my promotion celebration, evenings with genuine friends who expect nothing but my company. Rowan appears from the kitchen, champagne flutes in hand, his easy smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. "To the new partner," he says, extending a glass toward me. I accept it with a smile that feels natural, effortless, nothing like the strained expressions I manufactured for family gatherings. It still doesn't feel real sometimes. "Which part?" he asks, leaning against the window frame. "The promotion or the life?" "Both," I admit. "Remember my old studio apartment?" Rowan nods. We'd met after I'd already begun reclaiming my life, but he's seen the photos, the cramped space where I'd lived while sending thousands to my family. The contrast between then and now isn't just in square footage, it's in the lightness I carry. My phone buzzes on the counter. I glance down, surprised to see blocked call with a voicemail notification. Technology glitches sometimes. Eleonora's occasional attempts still break through. I pick up the phone and delete the voicemail without listening to it. "Your mom again?" Rowan asks, not needing details. "Probably," I shrug, adding her newest number to my block list. The gesture takes seconds, requires no emotional energy. 2 years ago, each call would have triggered hours of anxiety. Rowan raises his glass. "To us." "To us," I echo, the words feeling right. Not family obligations or forced loyalty, but a choice. Us. Later, curled on the sofa with my journal, I find myself reflecting on my former addiction to being needed. Dr. Croft had helped me see the pattern, how I measured my worth by how much I could give, how desperately I sought validation through sacrifice. Worth is inherent, not earned through financial support, I write. My value exists independent of utility to others. The boundaries I've built extend beyond family. Last week, I declined joining a client dinner without inventing an excuse. "I'm not available that evening." Was enough. The simple power of no still occasionally surprises me. My retirement fund, decimated by the $30,000 withdrawal for Harrison's surgery and countless other emergencies, has been steadily rebuilding. Each automatic transfer is an investment in myself, something the old Camille would have found impossibly selfish. Dr. Croft's words from our final session echo. "You've done the work, Camille. The tools are yours now." Her graduation gift sits on my bookshelf, a small brass compass engraved with, "Find your own true north." It's become my touchstone. Tomorrow, Julian and his partner are coming for dinner. Our friendship survived the breakup and my transformation. He was right about my family all along, but never once said, "I told you so." Instead, he became part of the chosen family that replaced my biological one. At the office, I've started mentoring a young analyst, Emma. I recognize the signs immediately: the constant phone checks, the quiet anxiety, the way she apologized for taking personal days. When she mentioned liquidating investments to help her brother with just one more bailout, I didn't share my story. Instead, I connected her with resources on financial boundaries and emotional manipulation. Her grateful email afterwards said simply, "No one's ever understood before." Harrison calls occasionally. His individual therapy has helped him establish some independence from Eleonora. Our conversations are respectful, focused on him and me, never on what I can provide. Spencer sends birthday texts. Preston remains distant, still unable to view me as anything but a resource that betrayed him. Eleonora remains unchanged, but her power over me has dissolved. Her manipulations are transparent now, almost comical in their predictability. Rowan joins me on the balcony as night falls completely. We discuss weekend plans, future dreams, conversations unburdened by financial obligations to others. Freedom isn't about cutting ties, I say, watching the city lights shimmer below. It's about having the choice to set terms. His hand finds mine as I delete another blocked voicemail with my free thumb. The champagne catches the last golden light as I raise it. To us, I say again, knowing now that us can include only those who bring value to my life, not those who extract it. The city sparkles below, a sea of possibilities stretching outward. For the first time, the future feels like an open road rather than a confined box, and I am finally completely free to choose my own direction.